There are many things in play, many agreements in play, not just self-indicted contracts or soul group agreements or even entity agreements. The earth itself is very dense. The waves that run through it kill the energy within itself. There are many things at play that affect the being in every state of consciousness, of every state of emotions. And all that is manifested through the body, with each other, with our own selves, as we live our daily lives. There are a multitude of influences, not just these, that have taken a great part of our current lives. This has been a build-up the last 2,000 years. We have created all up until this moment. And it is now that we ask ourselves, we've come this far, we've allowed all this, and now what? We are killing each other, we are killing ourselves, and now what? The question lies in the consciousness, in the subconscious, and even in the unconscious of every human being on this planet. The question does not go ignored every day they wake up. But the trap has become so dense, they feel there's no escape. So they live on like robots, giving in to their jobs, giving in to their debts, giving in to their obligations, and even giving in to their family loyalties and agreements and soul contracts. And they even forget to ask themselves, where am I going? How far am I going to take this? This is why suicide is on the rise. This is why cancer is on the rise. This is why there's so much illness and obscurity, not just inside the planet, but inside every human being that lives in the depths of this current density. It is sad talk, and we do not wish to expand on it, for we do not proclaim sadness. We proclaim love and forgiveness and expansion to the spirit every time and at all times. It has become our fight as well as humans to aid them, to assist them, to bring them out and awaken them.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
There will be families that will succumb to this new technology. They will see the affects, the affection. Affliction is the word. They will see the affliction in their younger ones and in the seniors that live within their communities. Those are the ones that will be greatly and mostly affected by this technology. And then those that are younger, working, earthbound, let's say, humans. These will be affected in memory. Their memory will lapse. It will cause glitches in their brain, let alone their hearts, making them hostile, arrogant, unfriendly, uncaring. Poor performance will be the worst in history if this technology is not avoided. Not so much zombie because there will be reactions, but the reactions will be based not on love, not on wholesomeness. Their reactions will be hostile. They will not walk like zombies. They will walk like robots. Zombies have no feelings. And hate can confirm that. These reactionary humans that 5G will bring forth will be aggressive, not in a violent way, but uncaring, cold. They will live in despair and depression. Faces will not smile, and eyes will not glow. The light will become very dim, and they will just follow. Once they cannot fight it anymore, they will just follow like robots and puppets.
I agree with all that you said. This is a topic that was brought up in a discussion where there are other soul healers, and their initial reaction was that, in a sense, they are too, say, strong or powerful to even for 5G to affect them specifically. What are your thoughts on that?
Can you please explain that? Because it sounds like possession. Can you please explain your question or ask your question again so that I do not misinterpret or explain what I should not explain? This is not true. This is not true. This is not true. 5G will affect everyone that comes in its exposition. Everyone. Absolutely everyone. Waves, electromagnetic waves, will interfere with your frequency as a healer. It will interfere with your frequency as a healer. This is why most healers do not have TVs in their bedroom, nor radios, nor alarm clocks connected to their beds or on their tables, this vessel is saying. Nightstands, she corrects.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a high frequency healer and you put yourself in the realm of a 5G frequency, you are actually saying that they will not be affected. This is not true. they will be affected. And the more exposition, the more the damage. It affects your frequency as a healer, as a person, as a human being, as the water molecule that we are. Frequency affects water.
Thank you. Thank you for that. As you know, I am
As we progress into the new age,
Mhm.
we transfer over. Perhaps a new selection of vocabulary would suffice and would bring in the new teaching that you as a teacher are providing and bringing to this planet. Perhaps you can say a frequency intermission or a frequency interruption, because that is what it is.
Yes.
Instead of shielding, if you do not wish to say the word shielding, you can use frequency and then use a word. This vessel is saying a synonym, perhaps. So that is something that you will have to reverbalize within
Yes.
your intellect so that your word and your teaching and your guidance can come across and reach the thousands that will wait very soon. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. I understand, as everything I mention is always from a perspective of awareness and what are some solutions, and everything comes from love. So thank you.
The psychosis will not be so much felt from what you consider to be adults. The psychosis will be more affecting the older ages.
Mhm.
Psychosis is something that you must be in agreement with, for not everyone will suffer that disease.
Mhm. And not specifically the psychosis. What I mean is that was the easiest way for me to explain how a person would feel. They would feel out of control, not be able to have, say, balance within some of the energies that were being affected by the 5G. If that makes more sense.
Yes, it makes no sense. Children will be the mostly affected. For children normally say what is on their little brains, on their little minds, and what comes out of their little hearts. So children will suffer the most affliction because adults never have the time to listen, to understand. So these afflictions become behavioral to the point of becoming physical.
Yes.
So
That is,
children and seniors are the ones that will suffer first
Mhm.
and most.
Yes, that is something that you have showed me, specifically the children. Yes, for example, some of these healers who are at a higher percentage currently, thinking that they will not be affected by it. Yes, that is something that you want to choose to believe. How about the children, though? How about the children who will be affected by them and cannot speak it to their parents? Their parents are unawakened, who cannot defend themselves. What about them?
Yes, that will be one of society's greatest affliction, the children. The performance will come through at home with behaviors and lack of attention, and then at school, always the academic performance. But the problem will be mostly at home, where the disconnect, as hard as this may seem, the disconnect at home is the biggest. For there is no time at home to meditate. There is no time at home to seek self-love and familial love. But there is lots of time when children are left alone in their rooms, in their own time, with their homeworks, alone at thought, because our lifestyle of parents is just too small to accommodate the large size of children. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And as the earth crumbles, and we do not wish to pervade in this, but as the earth crumbles, and so will everything else, well, we must continue to remain in that self-love and keeping the words carefully so that we may allow and encourage for our children, our spouses, and those that we as healers hold the space for, to seek that solace within, but not solace within as solitude, but graceful solitude. Solitude within our God, within our divinity, so that we can not allow an interruption in our frequency. Does that make sense?
Now, what is a solution? You had recently talked to us and you had said that there's much beauty to this timeline, but yet there's still much work. Metatron, what kind of solution or advice can you give us in regards to the 5G? What can we do to stop it?
This vessel believes in going back to basics. And yes, she admits we are spoiled. We are a spoiled society. And we do understand as humankind that there are easier solutions when we depend on technology. But when the technology is purposefully harmful to our existence, spiritually speaking, then we must battle it forcefully, fiercely, by taking the initiative of not bringing it into our home. If it becomes mandatory, we will provide ways and solutions to healers. And we will find ways to teach humanity to shield so that their frequency is not interrupted nor interjected. Up until then, if it becomes an option that you have to pay for with human dollars or human currency. You will have options. Simply do not choose that option. You will learn patience and tolerance by choosing a slower Wi-Fi. How much basics, or how far back to basics can you go? You choose. You can choose to wash your clothes in a washing machine, or you can also choose to wash them by hand. You can choose to use a microwave. You can also choose to cook on wood outside and build a campfire. Does this make sense?
Yes. Now, if some people already have, say, 5G in their homes, and I understand that you will give us tools on how to not allow, if we're aware of it and we're standing forth in fierceness of it. As I noticed that even some of the newer cars seem to have that 5G within it. If you have, can the aid of crystals help, say, not help that infringement of the frequency?
It may curb, it may help, but it will not completely evade the frequency. For the crystals that humans buy and use are not the purest of grades. There is much imitation, much commercialization, there is much reproduction. To get the highest and purest form of crystals themselves, you must travel to the Amazons, to the riverbanks, to the mines, where the public basically has no access to.
Mm-hmm.
Are there people that mine these? Yes. The cost is reasonable and very high.
And could we set up force fields with alchemy symbols to protect or to necessarily
Yes,
alter the frequency?
yes. But you must be attuned to such alchemy symbols. You must breathe in that span of breath. You must receive attunements. And not all healers have the same path. This does not happen overnight. And the transference is near. The threat still exists today. The threat is in the agenda. And as healers, we still have a long way come to terms equal. But because we have different healing paths and we are still subject to human bodies and contracts, which is somewhat challenging for healers to meet together from the same eye.
Thank you, Metatron, for you lie deeply with me. Thank you. And my heart. Is there anything else that you would like to address on 5G? I would like to now ask the questions that she has for herself.
We should proceed, but I am getting the presence of Lilith here.